Off the Record is a show from 88.1 WKNC in which DJs talk with artists about everything from their music to upcoming tours to former bandmates' birthdays. Make sure to follow WKNC on SoundCloud and Tumblr so you never miss a beat. Enjoy!
Hey, WKNC listeners, my name is DJ Beowulf, and I'm here in the studio with Spud Cannon. They are from Poughkeepsie. Did I say that right? Poughkeepsie, New York. All right, guys, thank you for coming in. I'm very excited to talk to you guys. Let's go ahead, and if you'll lean into the mics and introduce yourself, say what your name is, what you play, and go ahead and give us your favorite color.
Oh, all right. Well, I'm Meg. I'm Vox, and favorite color, teal.
Ooh, that's a good one.
I'm Ari. I play keyboards, and my favorite color is red.
NC State.
I'm Lucy. I play bass, and my favorite color is also red.
I like you. I love Lucy.
My name is Baron, and I'm the drummer, and my favorite color is green.
What shade of green? Any green?
Oh, forest green.
Forest green? Okay.
You stole my line.
Whose line is it anyway?
Whose line is it anyway? My name is Jackson, and I play guitar, and I guess I'm a blue boy, because he took green, so.
Blue boy. Well, blue is my favorite color. Once again, I'm DJ Beowulf. So let's start off by saying you guys just recorded your debut album. It is called Next Time Read the Fine Print. You flew out to LA. What was that experience like?
It was fun.
We recorded it in my basement in 7
LA?
days in Los Angeles.
And we wrote half of the songs while we were there.
Yeah.
And we lived there.
So you live there, but you're from Poughkeepsie.
No.
Only I'm from there.
Right.
And we decided that basically the only way that we could kind of feasibly cut an album in terms of like afford to do it was if we did it in my basement.
It actually sounds really well recorded. The album itself, I did not know that you guys played it in a basement, so I assumed you were going to be like, yeah, we recorded with so-and-so studios, so-and-so records. It was produced by... I was ready to ask you some questions about that.
I appreciate it because that was actually me fumbling through recording technique. Basically, I never cut anything in my basement.
Do you want to talk tech? Like, what'd you record it with? What was your setup?
Okay. Well, all right. Yeah, this will be fun for me, actually. I never get to talk about this stuff. We had a bad starter Gretsch drum set. Yeah, it's miserable. It's really bad. The hi-hat's broken. I played through like a Fender Hot Rod. In terms of recording stuff, we all played live in the room except for vocal. The whole thing was done at the same time, and I ran it through this 80s console I have that's called the Ramsa.
You
it's
do
a
kind of have like an 80s feel like in your music.
Except,
nothing to do with the console, but it's there.
By the way, I say console. It's the worst console you can get. Okay, I purchased it. I have a friend that works at a store, and they took a lot of money, and I got this big console for $500, and we ran it through that, and then into the computer, and very minimal mics, like 5 mics or something, just on everything, and that was it.
Very cool. And in regards to like not programming, like producing and things, are you an Ableton boy? Like GarageBand? Very juvenile. What'd you use?
Pro Tools Dinosaur.
Sweet. Dinosaur. I don't know why. I've been listening to a lot of Dinosaur Jr. recently, so an image of Jay Mascis just like popped into my head. Nothing to do with Pro Tools. In regards to writing your music, can you give me an idea of your creative process? For example, like who writes what? Who does lyrics? Who puts down tracks and things?
I usually come in what we call the fetus. Then everyone determines, sometimes we like to say, this fetus has legs, or maybe it doesn't, and we put it to death, but usually I'll have like an impetus.
It's okay, it's legal in both New York and California.
That is true. And usually I'll have an impetus or some chords, and then we take it in, and then we...
Is an impetus a metal band?
Probably is.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
Oh, Incubus? Okay,
Incubus
so
is, yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if this is a band too.
Yeah, but then we work it out.
Yeah, so he'll come in with like the chord progression and the structure usually, and then we'll kind of all play around with it and like write our own parts sometimes. But sometimes he has a bass line and stuff. But do something on top of it. And
So there's no like set thing that you do first. Like you never write like the bass line first or the vocals first. It's whatever.
It's like pretty much always.
It always usually starts with me, and then how we go kind of changes. And
Sounds like a
it's
very organic process.
It's super organic, and I think it's really developed, especially now even more. It's really collaborative in the sense that even now, we come in and it's all of us in the room.
I think that's a
working it
really fantastic thing when bands write music, I guess, like, cohesively, because it's not like one person's sound. It's not like Jackson and the Spuds. You all wrote it together as Spud Cannon, and I think that's pretty fantastic. You guys are a bunch of hot potatoes. Can you give me some major influences for your music?
The Strokes?
Yeah, the Strokes, definitely. I think more recently it's been like you said, like 80s kind of influences. So like The Cure.
Oddly enough, I was in like a pizza/bar thing right before coming in here, and they had 80s pop on the entire time. I was listening to Iggy Pop's Pandora Station. Oh, yeah. Not by choice, but I guess it works out. The universe was prepping me for this interview.
Yeah.
Anybody else other than the Strokes, The Cure?
I think right now we're on kind of a little bit of a new wave kick right now. So we love the B-52s. Like people should. I don't know. I know they're still touring, but I feel like they don't get the kind of modern rep. Their first two albums are great.
The only song I know by them was
Love Shack.
They did Love Shack?
Rock
I was
Lobster?
thinking Shining Star.
Oh, Shining Star.
Because it was in the live-action Scooby-Doo movie.
Oh my God. I remember that one.
Yeah, a big throwback.
Freddie Prinze Jr., right?
Oh, yeah.
Man Crush Monday.
Oh, Man Crush every day. But it is Monday, so it works out. Speaking of influences, on your debut album, you guys did a White Stripes cover of I Can Tell That We Are Going to Be Friends. Why did you guys choose to do that instead of doing another original, or does it have some sort of sentimental value?
I think I'm not like the hugest White Stripes fan. I like them. I'm not like a diehard, and I think what happened.
I feel like a lot of people are hit or miss on the White Stripes.
Yeah.
I personally am in love with Jack White and everything he does. Meg White's okay, I guess.
Yeah, I think the reason that at the time we were listening to it is because it's the quintessential indie movie song. And I just imagine
I feel
that it's
along
like
with like off of Surfer Rosa, Where Is My Mind?
Exactly. And I felt like it had, our first album had this incredibly nostalgic kind of, that's where we were coming from.
Royal Tenenbaums.
Yeah, we felt very Wes Anderson, and we wanted to. I think that's what spurred it on.
Speaking of spurring, your career is starting to pick up. You guys are now on tour. Before doing that, so what was your setup? Did you do lots of local shows? Were you involved in like the DIY arena of LA/New York?
Well, we started in a pizza place.
Yeah, that was our
Poughkeepsie.
I feel like most like indie
pizza.
bands are like, oh, a pizza place.
Yeah, we played a lot of house shows, some basements.
Classic. Always good memories made there, or if you are not performing, you might not remember it.
Yeah.
And then along the way, we kind of started playing other colleges in the area, like in the New England, like Bard and Syracuse. And then recently, like, we've been playing shows in Brooklyn and like New York City, kind of smaller venues, but it's all been really fun.
Do you have a favorite spot on the tour so far, or a favorite venue that you've played in the past?
I think New York will always be in our hearts. And the
New York
last
state
night,
of mind.
Absolutely. And I mean, we love playing at Vassar, obviously for kind of the hometown fans, the OGs.
The people who sing along during the concert.
The people who sing along,
very
that saw us in the basement or whatever. But I think we all love New York because, I mean, our tour kickoff, we just played there. And I think it was one of the first times that I think it was sold out and it wasn't just our friends. And we were all like, oh my God. You know what I mean? We're one of those bands, we were never even trying to record. We were like a party band for a while. And then literally
I feel like party bands are able to like generate a large fan base from the beginning because it's fun. And from seeing your like Thrumadum music video, like you guys perform really well. You guys seem like you enjoy performing. You have a great stage presence. There's an energy between you all that is transferred to the crowd. And I think that's something that really makes a great band. So party bands, I'm a fan.
Yeah.
Speaking of tours, what is your dream tour lineup if you could play with anybody?
Spoon.
Actually,
I do like Spoon.
Yeah, Spoons.
The first song I ever heard by them, I think I listened to them in like, I don't know, my freshman year of high school. Like, I turned my camera on, used to be my jam. I would like walk through the hallways with my headphones in, walking to the beat. They're a very feel-good artist.
Yeah, I saw Spoon recently too. They played Poughkeepsie. I don't know why, but it was a great show.
See, even though you keep saying Poughkeepsie, I keep wanting to say like Poughkeepsie.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm ever going to get it right. So Spoon is a pretty contemporary band. I know that they've been around for a couple years at this point, and you guys are even newer. So as a contemporary artist, what do you guys think sets you apart? What is your marketable angle?
Well, I think the one thing about us is that our music was always meant to be fun, and as you said, we are a party band. We started
fun,
as a party band, and I remember when we started out, we said we want to play parties for our friends. We're not going to record, and we want to play original music, so we're going to make it fast and upbeat and something that everyone could get into. Not like a punk, like punky, but not something you could dance to, and something that was
so
like
not limited, yeah.
Not limited. And I think at the end of the day, it's our makeup, it's our having fun. We get dressed up. Our influences.
You guys are very well dressed right now.
Yeah, and we're not playing bummer music either, right?
Oh yeah, because a lot of the music nowadays that like indie bands make and stuff, or not necessarily, but can be kind of sad boy or just not very dancey.
Yeah, I feel like you guys definitely don't fit into that genre of like post-emo and drawing influences from the 90s instead of the 80s. Except for that one White Stripes song that is a 90s song. Next question. Oh man, I just lost my place. So on the beginning of the new debut, you have Gary Oldman. Is that the real guy?
You betcha.
Is the real
Sirius
guy?
Black in the flesh.
Sirius Black? Okay, so tell me some Gary Oldman stories. Did you enjoy working with him? How did you meet him? Because
Well,
that's kind of like a character out of nowhere. What an amazing crossover from the universe.
well, that thing that's on our album was actually recorded on a voice memo, and it wasn't even my phone. So he texted, so we didn't necessarily work with him, but he's a great guy.
You got his phone number.
Yeah,
So,
we
like-
did. Well, he came to our show when we played in LA when we were cutting our album, which was a kind of a horrible show. It was like
Did
an
he come
off
for
show.
you?
Nah, he was there. This was mostly a club. It was like this weird. It's called the
Much too
Peppermint
nice for
Club,
us.
and it's like
Party
they
music
opened it recently.
is found at clubs.
That's true.
Yeah.
I don't think they knew what they were getting themselves into
It's
when
odd
they
to think
booked
of Sirius
us.
Black like frequenting like.
I don't
a
think he
club
frequents
scene.
there. That might have been his last time.
That's
probably
really
was his
interesting though.
last
Like
time.
just that event, he happened to be there at the same club.
And there
that
was
you were
hardly
playing.
anybody else.
There was, he was
pretty
maybe one of the 15 people.
sparsely
Oh my
I think they
gosh.
screwed up. One of my friends worked at the club, and we needed a gig like in a week and a half, and he did us a favor. But no, he's been incredibly. It's been incredibly helpful. I mean, we're big fans of him as an actor.
Yeah.
So I love his movies from anything from Darkest Hour to Sid and Nancy's, like classic.
I actually didn't even know he was in Darkest Hour. I was only thinking of like Harry Potter series. I feel like that's his most iconic role.
That is, I mean, yeah.
I don't know.
yeah.
Maybe I'm just uneducated. I do live under a rock. It's prime real estate, very cheap. Next question that I have for you guys is that you mentioned a couple minutes ago that you wanted to be a party band and you weren't recording. What was the transition between saying like, nah, we're not going to record to putting out a debut album featuring a Gary Oldman sound?
I think we just started getting really tight as a band, and like the songs that we were writing had a sound, and so like we wanted to put that sound together into like a kind of a compilation, which is like an album. So Jackson kind of got the idea to go out to LA, and it was kind of like on a whim. And then
Very
it ended
cool.
up happening. Like we worked it out within like 2 months. And then-
Sometimes the most spontaneous decisions can have the best events.
And also, before we recorded in LA, we tried to record some stuff in his dorm room, but it just didn't really work that well. And we wanted to have recordings of what we were making.
Whose dorm room?
before
Jackson's?
that-
Well, it was in the music
Oh, yeah, it
hall.
was in
We
the
tried
music
to record the
building.
music hall, but it was a mess. It was like after hours, and we had to put Meg like in
Yeah,
the
it was in the
hallway
hallway
where
with,
people
like,
walking
the
by
cord.
singing.
Right.
And it was, her
the
voice was echoing in this like stone hallway.
Yeah,
And,
it
I feel like that would be pretty
Knock,
cool to like
knock,
check
are
out
you
the
guys done in there?
overtones.
yeah.
Yeah. No, but at the same time too, I think you brought up a good point. Like at the beginning, it was literally like we were kind of playing jam and parties, and like we were into it. We were into it ourselves, and we were like, God, we just want record of this, like for us. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
so we can
absolutely.
listen to it.
Well, speaking of records of your music, I'm going to go ahead and give the audience a sample of what you guys play. For anyone who's listening right now, once again, I am with Spud Cannon. The song that I am about to play is called Wipe It Out. All right, that was Wipe It Out by Spud Cannon. I have the daytime music director of WKNC. He has a quick question for Spud Cannon. Would you like to take over for a minute?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm personally just curious as to which one of you farted in my office earlier.
Did you guys for real do that?
Yeah, somebody farted in the office. There is a fart ban.
We have a strict no fart policy at WKNC, and this is a very serious interview, so I am putting my foot down.
Listen, all I'm going to say is we play this farting, we play this whodunit game in our tour band when somebody farts, and we play like you start pointing fingers. But it's getting harder because people have begun to admit to it, so really it could be anything. But all I'm going to say about your offices is I was sitting in there, I smelled it, and when they walked out, the smell went.
You dealt it.
So, yeah, whoever smelled it dealt it.
You smelled it, you dealt it.
They walked in and were like, ew. They all walked in and said, ew. And then when they walked out, it left. So, clearly, I think I'm exonerated.
The air leaving the room.
Exonerated.
She always uses air as a thing. It's like it ruminated. You had
I'm just like, if you farted in there and then just left, why would you say anything? You were like constantly in there, so like, you're the one who needed to defend yourself.
Yeah, you were.
And it didn't smell. And it didn't smell. Listen, you were here for a while before the smell started. It could have been
Trailed.
I've been framed.
I'm not going to name names, but one of them, after I walked out of the room, I smelled it in the hallway, and she walked into the other room, and it suddenly disappeared again. So I think
Well, I will go ahead and name names. I'd like to move it from flatulence to some music creation. We're going to go down the line, and I have some directed questions for each member of Spud Cannon. Jackson, let's start with you. So we mentioned earlier that you recorded your first things in your dorm room. Where did you go to college? Let's try that again. Testing, 1, 2, 3.
Hello.
Hello.
It's me.
Hello.
Let me function with the mics a little bit. All right, let's
Hello?
back it up.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're here.
What we
Yeah.
covered. Vassar College,
Yeah.
economics major.
Yeah.
Nick Jagger was also an economics major,
Bingo.
and you like the Rolling Stones,
I do like the Rolling
but you
Stones.
don't like their 80s thing.
Well, was emotional rescue 80s because I do like She's So Cold. Okay, let's put it this way. Keith Richards is my screensaver on my phone, so I am a big Rolling Stones
Very,
fan.
very cool.
Yeah.
Okay,
The
well,
Keith.
thank you for the facts. I apologize if there was some trouble with the audio there for a second.
No worries.
Let's swing on over to Baron.
Oh boy.
Oh, boy.
Hello.
Hello. Thank you for coming in.
No worries.
So what I know about you is that you are not the original drummer of Spud Cannon.
No, I'm not.
How did you end up playing for them now?
I am a dear friend of Jackson's who I met in LA.
His life is full and no longer barren with you in it.
Good one.
Thanks, I tried my best. Puns
no,
are like my thing.
He and I met through a mutual friend in LA, and then just blossomed into really good friends over the span of a few years. And then randomly he called me one day and he was like, "Hey, dude, I'm planning a tour. I need a drummer."
Very
And I
cool.
just said, "Yeah." I
What's
needed
your
some
musical
thinking,
background? How did you start drumming?
but- I've been playing drums for about 8 years now, and I just kind of picked it up. I really didn't have there was no I'm going to become a drummer today. I just kind of started playing, and that was that.
Was it the very stereotypical child bangs pots and pans in the kitchen, takes creative outlet with drumming?
Sort of.
Sort of?
Yeah, no, there wasn't really a lot of banging on pots and pans. It was mostly just tapping with my hands, and I frequently got kicked out of class for it.
Yeah, let's not think about high school.
Yeah, but yeah, no, I actually started out playing guitar when I was 10, and then hated it.
Why'd you hate it?
I couldn't get it. I gave up. I was just like, I don't like this.
I feel
I-
like a lot of people, they start learning guitar and then move from open chords to bar chords, and they're like, not
I'm
for
out.
me.
Out.
I'm out.
Yeah. No, and then I started playing bass, and then that was fun, and I did that for a while, and then I just picked up drums in high school. And then
So you're
that
a
was
man
it.
of many talents, at maybe not proficient in guitar or bass, but you have your toe in the water.
Yeah.
Yeah, very, very cool.
I could only be the guitarist in my own band.
Okay. Would you ever consider doing a solo project? Have you ever put out music not with Spud Cannon?
No, well, yes to the first one, no to the second one. So yes, I would consider releasing my music in the future. Have I done thus far? No.
Okay. Cool. Well, we will be keeping an eye on your musical career. Maybe one day as a solo artist, you'll come back to WKNC.
Lovely.
All right, let's swing over to Lucy. Hello.
Hey.
Thank you for coming in. I like your very sparkly shirt. I know that the listeners can't hear it, but she is incredibly well dressed today.
Thank you.
You are so welcome. So, Lucy, you are the bass player.
Yes.
I'm going to ask you the same question. How did you start playing music?
So when I was in 5th grade, you had to either join choir or orchestra or band, and I decided to join orchestra so that I could play the biggest instrument. And
the upright bass.
the upright bass. So I played upright bass since I was 10, and then when I came to college, I saw Jackson's poster saying I want a bass player. So I literally bought a bass guitar, and that's how long I've been playing bass guitar.
Very cool. I know very little about the electric bass. I was a classical musician for a decade. I played the viola, not the upright bass. What are the similarities of the two? Was it easy to transfer between upright to electric?
So I would say that upright is harder because it's fretless, and you have to play with the bow and stuff, and just the music is generally more challenging, but it is similar in the notes are in the same place.
Yeah.
So you're
Are the
basically
strings
just,
tuned to the same notes?
yeah, it's the same. Yeah. Yeah. And then, so it's just a matter of rotating it.
An upright
then,
bass is a high E A D G, right?
No, high G. It's the other way around. So it's G,
okay.
D, A, E. Yeah. And I still play upright in the Vassar College Orchestra.
Very, very
and,
cool.
Yeah, that'll always. I hope to keep doing that also. But playing in a band is super different and really fun.
Yeah, it's a different outlet. Different emotions are conveyed.
Yeah.
Also, I think it's very cool that as a contemporary musician for a band, you're able to create your own music. However, as a classical musician, you're playing somebody else's. Not to say that that's not as
Exactly,
fulfilling,
yeah.
because it's beautiful and it's a show of skill and talent, and community organization, but it's a different expression. Do you have a favorite composer? Or a favorite piece that you've played in the past?
I really like the oh man, it's like the piece by that dude who did Benjamin Britten.
Okay.
The orchestra, like introducing the orchestra. So there's like a flute noise. I forget what it's called.
I also
like
forgot what
Children's
it's called.
Guide to the Orchestra.
Yeah, a children's guide to the
Children's
orchestra.
Guide to the Orchestra.
Exactly.
One of my favorite like children's pieces was what was the Peter and the Wolf.
Oh.
I think that piece is fantastic because all of the instruments are played in a non-traditional manner. They're supposed to like mimic sounds and tell a story as opposed to like melodic lines and things like that.
Yeah.
I think it's very cool. Well, thank you very much for sharing a little bit of a background. Ari, you're up next.
Hello.
Ari, you're on keys and you do a little bit of
Yes.
background vocals, right?
Yeah.
All right. So are you classically trained? How'd you get started on keyboard?
Yeah, I am classically trained. I started playing piano when I was 5, so I've been playing for about 15 years now. But coming into the band was a super different experience for me just because I have no like music theory training. So when Jackson would say like, "Oh, here, play a G chord," I'd be like, what is that? But since then, I've gotten a lot better. I took a theory class.
Music theory is
Which was
crazy
so hard.
complicated.
So
It is
hard.
even like intro to music theory. Like it starts off easy, but then like I feel like once you get past the circle of fifths, you're just diving in.
Yeah, and I took counterpoint, which was just like insane. But yeah, it's really fun. It's a different feeling than playing classical music, definitely. I mean,
Absolutely.
obviously, but
What model of
yeah.
keyboard do you use?
I use a Yamaha PSR 463, I think.
Okay. And I know that Yamahas and especially electric keyboards in general have lots of different settings that you guys can use to create a different sound within music. What kind of production equipment do you guys use? Like when you're laying down a keyboard track, are you editing the sound? Are you changing into a synthesizer? Anything at all?
Well, it depends. I mean, I think with our last album, we ran it through like with MIDI, so we could change it on the computer and
Very
like,
cool.
because we didn't have that great of a keyboard, but it did have like MIDI capabilities, so we could change around the sound on the computer manually. But when we're playing live, I definitely like to switch up the sounds, and like I think that's what part of what gives our sound a really like unique.
We mentioned
feel to
earlier,
it.
you're a party band. You gotta like do fun stuff. It creates like a uniqueness to you
yeah, and you
guys.
gotta have synth if you're gonna do an '80s vibe.
You gotta
so.
have synth. Absolutely. Fantastic. Tell us a story about keyboarding. You said you're originally a pianist. What do you like about keyboard playing?
I really like the different sounds you can make. That's like the main thing. I don't know. I mean, I think really for me, it's less about the instrument and it's more about playing with the other people. Just having that kind of synchronization is just so satisfying, and it just gives you such a feel, like such a rush.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think with like classical music, I was trained on sight reading, so I'm just like playing the notes that I see.
Sight
whereas,
reading
like,
is stupid hard.
yeah,
Like all the time. I remember in all of my classical auditions, they would always have you like play scales, play a piece that you'd done, and then sight read. Not for me.
yeah.
I don't know. I was always good at sight reading just because I didn't practice. So you would get good at sight reading because you just had to do it on
I
the
feel
spot
that,
all the
yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Man, that's a doozy. Glad to have classical in the past. Lucy said that she still plays for Vassar. Do you still play classical music?
I take piano lessons, and so I do recitals and things, but I don't really take part in like any combos or ensembles.
So you started when you were 5. How old are you now?
I'm 20.
20, so a whole 15 years, a decade and a half.
Yeah,
That is a pretty big accomplishment to have
Yeah,
under
I
your
held
belt.
on to it.
Congratulations.
Thank
I,
you.
I stopped after year 10. I was done.
Yeah.
It's way too stressful for me. All right, last but not least, and certainly not least important, Meg, you're on vocals, right?
Indeed.
Okay, so when I first listened to your guys' album, I found that your vocals were a lot like, I shouldn't say a lot like, but I listened to this band called Mothers, and I found that you had similar overtones, and your singing style was similar. Have you ever gotten a comparison like that before?
Yeah, we actually have, exactly.
Really, that exact band?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. I like them a lot. A good friend of mine introduced them to me originally. In regards to singing, are there artists that you mimic or artists that you draw inspiration from?
I don't know. I mean, what might make it kind of interesting is, like, I listen to a lot of singer-songwriters like Regina Spektor and Ingrid Michaelson, but also
Regina
bands
Spektor
like The
is-
Strokes throughout high school. So it's like coming with that into more of a band type of deal.
Now, are you the lyricist exclusively for Spud Cannon?
No. So on our debut album, I wrote most of the lyrics, I think, but Ari and Lucy also have written lyrics.
Very, very cool. And did you songwrite before joining Spud Cannon?
So I tried.
You tried.
Yeah, I mean, like, I can get by on guitar, but I don't I don't know, chord progressions never really felt right, and I loved coming up with melodies, but never felt like I had the backing to really get anywhere with it. So coming into Spud Cannon was kind of the perfect setup for me.
Do you remember the first song you ever wrote, or like not one that you tried, but like the first song you ever cohesively put together?
Oh yeah.
What was it? What was it like?
Midnight. Wow. Yeah, that was, that like really set the tone for us as a band, I think. Because we didn't know each other at all before we like formed this band. So our first couple of practices were just like all of us standing around, kind of like figuring out what to do, and then like maybe the second or third time Jackson comes in with this like idea, the first fetus.
First fetus. I really think it's funny that you guys call like your baby songs that.
Yeah. But so yeah, we were jamming on that for a while, and it just started clicking. And then like we laid down a melody after like the rest of the pieces were in place, and then like the day I came into practice with lyrics, I'd like written them about an hour before that practice, and I was all stressed out because I was like, oh, I don't really know these people. I want it to be good. Like, oh, I don't. I was just nervous, but I just sat down and like kind of thought of the sounds, and a story came to me and came in with them, and we worked it out.
Very, very cool. I'm really glad to see that you've overcome that nervousness, especially with the band. Do you still get that same sort of like anxious feeling when performing? Do you have stage fright?
Sometimes. I feel like it really depends on the crowd. I mean, because at school, a lot of people know us. Everyone knows us. So
very,
like,
very cool.
You see a lot of friendly faces in the audience, and it's easier to like dance and have a good time on stage. But we've been having fun so far on tour, so I feel like we're just growing every time we play.
Fantastic. Well, I'm going to play another song over the air now that we've talked about your songwriting and the very first song that you guys ever wrote. What's this one called? Do you want to introduce it? The Boogeyman. Say that one more time.
The Boogeyman. Guess who it's about?
Guess who it's about? Okay. All right, I'm going to cut off the mics and we'll play the song. All right, guys, that was Boogeyman by Spud Cannon. I have a quick question about that one before we transition back into another song that I'll be playing by you guys. So the album cover of that song is some beautiful, what I believe is snakeskin boots, faux snakeskin. I think they're super funky, and it's somebody stepping on a bunch of gum, and then that's the album cover. First of all, who's wearing the boots?
I'm wearing them right now.
You're wearing them right now?
Yeah, I'm wearing them right now in the studio.
Very cool. Do you wear them regularly, or?
I'm starting to. Yeah, I'm working it into my wardrobe.
Are they real snakeskin or faux, or?
They're fake.
Okay, I mean, they're probably cheaper and also better for the animals.
Let snakes live.
Let snakes live.
Look at Taylor Swift, you know.
Oh my gosh. That was a call out. I'm actually a very big fan of snakes and non-traditional pets. I just adopted a pair of rats, and they are my babies. I originally wanted snakes, but now I feel like that I have rats. I can't really cross that over. That's not going to be me.
Yeah.
When designing album covers, why did you choose to make that the picture? Was it just one that you had in your archives and it was interesting?
Well, on our first record, on Next Time Read the Fine Print, when we were going through art, we had...
that's lips, but the tongue is a cactus.
The tongue is a cactus. And what happened at the time is we were trying to get kind of inspiration. There was this Instagram artist that's French-Canadian named...
I'm French-Canadian.
You
Wow.
are?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, her name's Gaboise. Gaboise.
Yeah, all French-Canadians know each other. I know who that is. I do not. Continue.
Yeah. But she's like an Instagram kind of Photoshop artist. And at the time, we saw that photo, and we tried to recreate it ourselves.
But
And
nobody wanted to eat it.
We failed miserably. And we worked with other ideas, so we went, maybe we should just use her photo because we love it so much.
Did you
And
commission her or like ask for permission?
We asked for permission. We have the rights, so it's not... We didn't steal it. She was super nice. We DM'd her.
Is she a fan of the band? Has she checked out your music?
I doubt she's ever listened to our band.
It's so
but
cool that
maybe
she gave you guys
did.
permission.
I mean, we DM'd her on Instagram, and she was super nice about it.
I really do think it's a very dynamic picture. It gives me a little bit of like, not like ASMR tingles where it makes you feel good. I'm a little uncomfortable by it because I think of a cactus in my mouth.
I have a question for the music director. One of the reasons we did it was because basically we thought if a music director sees this, he's going to go, "What is this?"
Yeah, I mean, like, it's pretty cool. Like, part of my job is that we get so many CDs that, like, having to judge it, like, instantly is by the album cover. So, yeah, that is part of the reason why we stuck around with it. It's because the album cover looks cool and isn't, like, some guy standing on, like, a field.
Is that done a lot? Is that done a lot?
Yeah, like, oh, God, we have had so many terrible album covers, and you guys is fantastic. So you should be really proud of that. All of like your art is like not super muddled. Like it's to
crisp.
a point, but like you still like look at it and like you're still interested by it. So yeah, fantastic in terms of getting my attention and like getting us to listen to your music.
Yeah, I mean, no, that was the goal, and I appreciate the kind of what you were saying about the crispness of it because I think that's what we were drawn to her art as well, because also the thing is tying it back to the band for a sec when we started out, because we were playing basements and also we've had a horrible practice space situation for our entire time as a band. We still have to, at least I do, walk about like a mile with an amp and a guitar. I don't have a car. And basically, even when you're playing basements, sometimes they have one power outlet. So you know what I mean? My point is like, you know what I mean? We play, Lucy doesn't play with effects. I have one effects pedal. Play with a small amp. We have a keyboard. Meg shows up, and we play with whatever the drum set is.
Right.
And it's to the point,
And like that even goes back to like how you guys aren't one of like the moodier indie bands. They're not lo-fi really at all, other than just like.
I can't believe that is such an honor. Because, by the way, I listened back to the album, and honestly, I'm never like, even though I recorded it, I always go, I'm never like, wow, oh my God, I can't believe I did that. What an accomplishment. I listen to it, and I go, wow, this like was just good enough to play on the radio.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Even like one of like the most irritating things I come by now is just how it's kind of like the Mac DeMarco like Slacker thing. It's really easy to not put in any effort and then pretend like that's your whole aesthetic, and it's obvious that you guys actually care a lot about what you're doing and like put in a lot of work and energy, and that's obviously reflected in the music, but like especially with your album covers, things like that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, good job, guys.
I know, I appreciate it. As I always say when people say, are you going lo-fi? And I go, it's easy to go lo-fi. I always say, I'm shooting for hi-fi, and it's going to come out lo-fi.
Mid-fi.
You know what I mean? Mid-fi. I think we are a mid-fi band.
Sometimes that mid be hitting, though.
Yeah, the mid is hitting.
The mid is hidden. All right, guys. Well, let's play another one of your mid-fi songs. I have Thrumadum up next. Once again, that was Thrumadum by Spud Cannon. They are still in the studio for this interview. Before playing that song, we had mentioned, or you guys had mentioned, your practice routine about walking a mile and your lack of equipment and things. Let's talk about practice. How does it go for you guys? What's your usual routine? How does the band act together?
Well, I think the first part of our practice routine is finding out where we're practicing, which is always a charade. And we've gone from getting kicked out of rooms because Vassar has a policy where bands aren't supposed to practice in the music building, which
Is
how does that make any sense? Am I right? But I think we've all we've gone from borrowing keys. There's only one room in the entire school that has a drum set. We've gone from borrowing keys to sneaking in. I had a guy who knows how to pick locks on hand.
You have a guy.
He's one guy, and everyone knows him for your weird needs.
He's the guy.
He's the guy. Who will keep his identity a secret. But
absolutely. Then he wouldn't be the guy.
Yeah, exactly. He wouldn't be the guy. But yeah, we always have to find a place, and then
the next part of the routine is waiting 20 minutes for Jackson to arrive. And then another 15 while he sets up the pedals and does the banter.
I thought he only had one effects pedal.
Oh, well.
I take my sweet time.
Yeah.
I do only have one. Yeah, it's a great pedal.
What is it? What do you use?
Oh, this is really busting secrets. This is I think a
That's
big
what an
key.
interview
This is
is
I
for.
know. Okay,
An
this is a big
all-access
key.
pass.
I can't talk this pedal up enough. Seriously, no one talks about
Name
it.
drop,
It
name
is
drop.
a Catalan bread. FS, I think 5 or something. What it actually is Catalan bread is hand wired in Oregon, and I'm not a gear geek. As I told you, I don't have a pedal board. But this pedal, I remember when I got it. It's actually, and I found out only later, it's a Fender Bassman amp emulator. And at the time, I was playing in this high school band, and I was so selfish, and we were all obnoxious. And
As everyone is in high
I
school.
wanted a pedal that if I clicked it on, I would be immediately louder than everyone in the band.
I find that a lot of musicians use pedals as clicking on. You're like, now
yeah.
I sound good.
Exactly. No, this actually, what makes the pedal so awesome is it adds a ton of low end, which actually most overdrive pedals I found don't. And it's clean. I didn't want it to be too fuzzy, so it kicks it up. So it's great to have. For sure.
Very cool. Very, very nice. Aside from your practice spaces, so since you have trouble with practice spaces, what is it like making merch? I know you guys sell cassettes. If one were to represent Spud Cannon, what would they have?
We have 2 T-shirts that are available right now.
We have 3 kinds because there was one that we made a while ago that.
They're not soft at all. I
They're
won't
not
even
soft.
wear
What do
them.
you
They're
use,
soft if you wash them a
we
couple
fixed
times.
it. No, let me just say something. The 2 new ones are both American Apparel, and I wear them all the time. They're super
cool.
soft, made in the USA.
American born and bred.
American born and braised. American born and braised. I think they are braised. They're super
like our
soft.
potatoes.
Nice steak.
Really soft.
Potatoes,
But
there you go.
we also have cassettes that major shout out to Ghoul Tapes, which I don't even know if he really runs it anymore. Chris Friedman at Syracuse University has a small tape label called Ghoul Tapes, and he was kind enough to print a run of her album. Yeah.
It is very popular in small bands to, small bands to release cassettes. What do you feel is the purpose of that? A lot of people don't have cassettes players anymore, and while I think they're cool, artifacts of memorabilia, why do you think people keep putting them out?
Laura, I said the same thing.
Ooh, you just used my real name on air.
Oh, I did a major villain. I'm so sorry.
It doesn't matter.
Okay. Major faux pas. I know. Okay.
It really doesn't matter. But I'm DJ Beowulf.
DJ Beowulf. I'm so okay. Big oops on me. Anyways, what happened? That was like a major, as we call it, Faux Paux. No, Chris kind of reached out to us at the time and was like, we want to do a cassette run, and we were like, I think what we said at the time was, we said, Chris, do we have to pay? And he said, no, I will pay for it. And I said, Chris, do whatever you want. You know what I mean? So we have cassettes now.
What do they look like? Are they the album cover? Do you have some extra art?
They're the
Oh
album
yeah,
cover.
they're the album cover.
Fantastic. And tell me about the shirts.
The shirts
Other
we
than
have.
the fact that they're not soft.
Yeah. What? No, the new ones
new
are
ones are
super
soft.
soft.
The
The
new ones,
old
the old
one,
ones.
which are phased out, are not soft. But the
Okay,
new
so-
ones are mega soft. Like I'm seriously dead serious. You
I
know
might start a
American
band called
Apparel
Mega
stuff.
Soft.
That is.
It'll
good
be
one.
lo-fi.
Yeah, it will be lo-fi.
It will be lo-fi.
Extremely lo-fi.
Mega
But they're
lo-fi.
mega soft, and we have one that's called. What is it?
It's the Yukon Gold T-shirt, which
Oh,
has
the potato brand.
Yeah, certified Yukon Gold.
certified Yukon Gold.
Yeah.
It's kind of it has a square on it.
It's got like you know how they give out when you get like a gold record.
Yeah.
They give you like a plaque with the record on it, and it's gold, and then it says like gold record. But
That's very
so
cute.
we have Spud Cannon, and then a gold record, and then it says certified Yukon Gold.
I really do like the play on potatoes. One of our after hours music director came in before the interview started, and she was like, make sure to make a lot of potato jokes. And I have a list of them on
yeah.
this sheet. I only use like 2 of them. I say a list as if I only have more than 2 written down. Any other shirts?
The other one is like a limited edition tour T-shirt, which is it's like a red ringer tee. So the shirt itself is white.
Ringers look good on everyone.
Yeah, and then it says Spud Cannon on the front and all of our tour dates on the back and places, and then
In a very snazzy font, might I add.
Snazzy
It looks
fonts.
great.
Like Wingdings or
Comic
know-
Sans MS.
I mean, I know. Here's what I remember. I had to download the font.
Wow.
So, I mean, listen, we're not just going under,
We're not playing around.
We're not playing around here.
Very, very cool. But speaking of playing around, you are playing around here. You've got a show at the Pinhook.
Yes, we are.
That was a good
Smooth.
segue.
Great segue.
Thank you, thank
Yes.
you. Where someone can buy your shirts and cassettes. So, tell us about the show tonight.
We are playing. Can I say that you guys are presenting it?
Yes.
WKNC, one of the top 10 college radio stations in the United States.
Thank you for hyping
which
us up.
is the
In
best.
the universe.
Is presenting our show at the Pinhook in Durham tonight. Also, Cosmic Punk, who our locals are playing, and Green Isles, both awesome.
Both awesome, both locals.
Emo Bad Boys, Green Isles will be featured in this festival of music.
This festival.
Festival.
I saw this tweet the other day that was like, if it's over 4 bands on the lineup, it's a festival.
You know,
Yes.
unfortunately, yes.
Especially if it starts at like 9 p.m. You're not getting out of there till like 12.
Yeah, no, you're not getting out. But literally, Monday, brighten your day. Doors at 8. Show starts at 9.
My whole week.
All I'm saying is that the music director here just told me that he doesn't go to shows and he's coming. So what does that mean? I mean, that means that you should
It
come.
means I'm really excited. It means I'm so excited that I broke the mic trying to tell you this right now.
I'm literally, so usually we have a mic stand here in the studio, and it's now free floating, and I'm holding it and talking into this mic.
Listen, if he was that excited, I think you should come, listeners.
But
Yeah,
I
this
mean,
is
come
also
out.
a technical documentation. I did not break it. You did.
I just really love Spud Cannon, and I don't know the power of my own strength. They gave me power through their music.
Potato power.
No power.
yeah, come party with us. Seriously, we are still the party band.
Potato
We
power
always
party.
were, and we're
At
gonna.
the Pinhook.
Come if you
Yeah.
wanna dance.
Alliteration.
Yes, at the Pinhook, Durham, Pinhook, 8 p.m.
North Carolina.
doors.
Just
Yeah.
to be clear.
Yeah, North Carolina, not to be not to be confused with any other Durhams. And once
Are
again,
there other Durhams?
I'm not
Durham,
sure. Yeah.
United Kingdom.
Interesting.
Oh wait, yeah, that's true. Actually, I made that up. But
Every
it's
United Kingdom city ends in ham. Like
Yeah.
Birmingham.
London ham.
There was Hampshire and then New Hampshire when they colonized.
Nice.
We were gonna play Durham United Kingdom tonight, but we couldn't make it. We had a flat tire, so we settled.
Yeah, we had a flat
We settled here.
You
and
settled for us?
We actually
Top 10 music
we're living in our we're not living. It's too small, but our tour minivan. It's not a van. It's not
It's
a full
a
van.
minivan.
They wouldn't give us a van because we're too young.
Who is they?
It hurts. You know what? I'm going to say out loud. Can I mention? I have things to say, but I won't say them. But
They
let's
gave
just
us a
say,
car that
no.
had a
Here's what I will say.
nail in it.
Bernadette at LaGuardia Hertz location is a wonderful woman. Okay,
Yeah, she's
That's all I'm
wonderful.
going to say. She's a saint, and she gave us our Dodge Grand Caravan, which let me just say, you see all the time on the road. And we have a new thing where we say them, we raise
I
our
saw
hands.
a Colorado Caravan on the road today.
Oh yeah, and we
By
go
Dodge.
Grand Caravan every time we see one. No one does it back to us, but we're still
We
working
have
on
never
it.
done that.
Never done it. I drive a Honda Civic, and whenever I see another Honda Civic on the road, I'm like, "Hey, brother!"
Yeah.
I'm just remembering when I saw Frankie Cosmos how her tour van had like one of those 90s Cups stripes across like the side of it.
Yeah.
Have you guys considered doing that to your rental van? To
We should.
Yeah, you sell a lot more
Improve
tapes.
it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we could be like a tape band.
So I vaguely know what a Dodge Caravan looks like. I'm honestly just picturing the van from Diary of a Wimpy Kid, loaded diaper, with just like Spud Cannon written on the
Oh,
side.
yeah. I mean, it came with a car seat, which is great for
That is-
Jackson, you know.
Because I'm a big baby. I'm a big baby. No, the reason we didn't put anything on the outside was regarding not getting robbed, which is the band on tour trope. And by the way, we had the idea to put like Spud Cannon massive letters on the outside, and then we were like, you know,
We like our instruments.
we
Yeah.
like our
It's
instruments.
also
Yeah,
really hard to look cool in a mom mobile.
I think it looks
Is it a Mom mobile?
fantastic.
It is.
No,
It
it's
is a
not.
minivan.
No, it's
Classic
not.
DIY.
It could be any mobile, and I am proud when I'm in the
Spudmobile.
driver's seat. I don't think it's.
The
I don't.
Mobile.
It's not like.
America born and bred, where anything is
Yeah.
possible. America.
Let's just be
Mobile.
clear. This isn't like an Odyssey that's like a soccer van. This is, he can back it up. This is a
back
Dodge.
it up?
This is a Dodge
Yeah, help them
Caravan
unload
we're
it. I
talking.
didn't think it was them when they showed up. I thought it was just like someone unloading like school supplies.
Wow.
Welcome to Move-In Day, guys. Aren't you excited to start at NC State? Go Pack!
It's a wonderful campus, by the way, for
It
the
is a
record.
wonderful campus. It's freaking massive.
Off the record.
Off the record. Yeah, it's great.
You know, I was going to ask earlier, like, did you like NC State? But I feel like that's such a cheesy thing. Like, how do you guys like my school where you're at right now? You have to say good things or I won't air this. Ah, ha, ha.
What's your mascot?
Oh, I know.
What's the mascot?
The mascot is the wolf. If you guys... The wolf. Well, I mean, it's a
Wolf
wolf,
pack.
but we're all wolf like pack.
One man
If you
wolf
put
pack.
Your thumb
Yeah.
and middle two fingers together and raise
Oh,
your pinky and
I
pointer.
know this. Wolves up.
Oh, wolves up! Go pack!
Noise.
Ow! Ow! All right, guys. It is 5:55. We are going to play your last two songs. Thank you so much for coming into the studio to interview with us today. Spud Cannon is an incredibly fun band and incredibly cool people. You want to say anything before we switch over to the sounds?
Thanks for having us.
Thank you so much for having
This
us.
was really fun.
And
so
come,
glad you had fun.
come see us at the Pinhook in Durham
Potato
tonight.
party at the Pinhook.
Potato party
Yeah.
at the Pinhook.
Come
you're
mashed
you're
or
invited.
fried?
Mashed
You're
or fried?
invited. Yeah. Or come baked.
Yeah, ooh, I'm just gonna let that slide. All right, guys, we're gonna switch over. The next two songs will be in order. It's gonna go Solar Pyromaniac and then Bleached. Both are by Spud Cannon. Once again, thank you so much for coming in. We'll see you tonight.